listening to the
Hey, MFM. See you on the lift.
Back attack, dude.
Bon voyage!
Get that damn car off of the hill.
Slide down them big hills. You know what I mean? On the big, nice burgundy snowboard.
Okay, welcome to the Bomb Hole, which is presented by Run Through a Wall. Today in studio, we got Seth Hewitt on production, Baby Huey. Silk couldn't make it. He's moving today. It's unfortunate. But Baby Huey, how we feeling today?
Feeling good. How we doing? Stoked to be here.
Love seeing you in that Silk chair. Those are big shoes to fill, but we'll see how you do.
Oh, yeah. He's often imitated, never duplicated, but we'll do our best.
Well said. Well said. And today we have Lia Block in studio. What's happening, Lia?
Nothing much. I'm happy to be here.
We are so happy that you're here. And I just want to start by saying, like, I follow you on Instagram. You travel so much.
I'm never in one place for too long, that's for sure.
Like, I feel like you're flying somewhere twice, 3 times a week. Your schedule seems insane.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit tired of planes already this year. I've racked up way too many air miles, that's for sure. Feels like I just live on them.
Well, I want to know exactly, like, are you flying to go do some testing for F1 stuff? Is that what a lot of the traveling entails?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the traveling is just back and forth from the U.S. to Europe. And unfortunately, but fortunately, I got to go to some very far away places at the beginning of the year, China, Saudi Arabia, and we had to go twice to China, so that meant I had to do that 16-hour flight twice. So Shanghai testing, had to come back to the U.S., and then Shanghai race, same with Jeddah. Jeddah was actually my longest flight this year, was, I think, 19 hours.
Oof.
Yeah, ridiculous.
What are we doing to get through a 19-hour flight?
Sleeping.
Oh, just sleeping.
I think that's basically it's what I do now. I've like trained my body to get on a plane and fall asleep, so that way it just feels like I teleport somewhere, and then it's way less boring.
Smart. Now I'm curious about this F1 stuff. You know, we're more of a snowboard, skateboard background, so you got to talk to us like we're a first grade reading level when it comes to a lot of this motorsport stuff. Yeah, exactly. But you know, I'm really fascinated with, you know, what you do in preparation for these F1 races, because it's a huge deal, big money, big sport, serious stuff. We talking simulators, testing?
Yeah, we're talking a lot of things I had no idea existed before I entered the world of F1. So a little more context to that is like I'd never driven a Formula style car until last year. So this is my first time in the world of F1, which what I say is the world of burning money. Because that's how I feel every time I go on track. But it's quite insane. I mean, coming from rally, which is such a, I wouldn't say grassroots, but you're in the middle of nowhere. You're on a dirt road. Like, there's no fancy paddocks and people wearing, you know, crazy red carpet clothes to a racetrack. So for me, it was like a big, like, switch around of, you know, just aesthetic and just world, you know? So for me, it was a big struggle in the beginning just with learning that whole world and, you know, just switching my entire driving style, going from rally. And I won the championship in 2023 and immediately went over to F1 Academy, which is so different. And I definitely questioned my decision a couple times in that first couple of months, just relearning, you know, how to drive a car, which it's so different. So I mean, I've enjoyed it so far. There's been lots of up and downs, but to be honest, it's so expensive to do that stuff, you know, and there's a reason why there's only 20 F1 drivers in the world and a very few percentage gets to the top, because there's so much money and hard work that goes into that type of racing. Not to say that it isn't in other types, but there's just add a couple more zeros to the end of your budget each year, you know. But it's been fun, and you know, it's very different, and I'm at one of the lower tiers of the F1 world, which is F1 Academy. I race for Williams Racing, and they're great. And I've been able to learn, you know, so much and met so many cool people and influential people in my career and my driving style, even as like a person from last year to now. I feel so different. But yeah, I'm ready to get back to some dirt right now, though. I can't wait. But yeah, it's been a lot, and just, you know, it's a huge mental load to do all of that traveling, to go to all these different races and testing. It's, you know, we only have 7 races a year, but we're going to racetracks almost every week.
So with this too, I think about when I was watching F1 Academy, which is a show on Netflix, which is insane that you're in a show on Netflix.
Yeah,
by the
I
way.
still don't believe it some days. What? I saw myself on the screen for the first time at the premiere in Miami, and all I could think of was like, why does my voice sound like that?
Well, but all the other young women you're racing against they've kind of been like groomed to do this their whole life. And you were just thrown in from a rally background, and it's got to be
like
a
putting
huge
a hillbilly
disadvantage.
in an F1 car. That's what I felt like. Completely different world.
Well, we have a question from the voice of Rallycross, Coley Andrews, and here we go.
Hey Leah, Todd, thanks for having me on. Leah, so pleased to see your single-seater career going so well. Missing commentating on the rally and the rallycross, of course, but my question relates to that really. So many single-seater racers come up with the background of only karting and sealed surface racing, and with all the experience you've got of what I call over-the-limit car control and loose surface car control, I just wondered how much of a benefit you have found that experience to be in learning a completely different discipline in single-seaters.
That's a great question. I love that. I mean, for me, it's more of a disadvantage than an advantage in a way. I guess I'm not as scared to have a car go sideways on me because I know how to control that. But it's different when you're fighting for tenths or just like you're all under a half a second apart from each other. Versus in rally, it can be a couple seconds each stage. It's not as close. So the biggest advantage I've seen from, coming from off-road has been driving in the wet, which can relate much more to off-road than maybe what the girls who came up through karting the traditional way maybe haven't experienced or don't have the confidence with as much. But not to say that I'm the best at it, just that I've had a bit more of an advantage learning that type of skill. But yeah, I'm never going to say like coming into F1 Academy, I was like, oh, okay, this won't be too hard, right? I did a bit of karting growing up and everything like that. Yeah, I was very quickly humbled. Very quickly. But, I think that's what made me such a diverse driver is I've had to learn all these different disciplines. I've gone and done extreme rally, Nitrocross, now open wheel, and a bit of Baja. I have all of these different tools, what my dad called my toolbox. All these different things. It's another tool in your toolbox that you can take out when you need it, right? So going into open wheel, that's kind of how I took it, and I had to relearn from the bottom. So it was a bit different in that way, but yeah, there's not much that I unfortunately have an advantage in besides maybe wet driving.
Yeah. Well, I think it would be cool to talk about the similarities and differences too, because, again, we're coming from more of a snowboarding background, but, rally, you got your the driver in the passenger seat, and they're basically feeding you what turn's coming, right?
Yeah. So basically it's like, if you close your eyes and envision a road, they are giving you that roadmap and what turn and how fast. So for me, I do a 1 to 10 system. So 10 is like basically a flat out, almost straight corner, and a 1 would be like a complete hairpin. So we use those numbers, and when we're writing notes on our recce before the rally starts, my co-driver is in the seat writing down these things. So when we're actually in the stage, she is basically like creating a roadmap in front of me without even seeing it yet, and it all comes before. So it's a 2-person team in that way. And in rally, like your only things that can affect you is maybe a mechanical, yourself, and your co-driver. And sometimes a deer that randomly jumps out in front of you. But it's about point A to point B. Rally is most of the time on gravel. What really gets people is it's on public roads, usually. So they close down roads for a weekend for a rally. And it's about, who can go the fastest down this dirt road and try not to hit a tree. Versus open wheel and F1, it's on a designated track. There's all those safety features. Cars go a lot faster because it's safer that way, and it's all on tarmac.
Yep. And you're racing other cars. It's not a time trial.
Yeah, it's wheel-to-wheel racing.
Yep.
All on the same track, so there's a lot more things that can affect your race. Someone can turn into turn one, and that's your weekend done. You know, there's a lot of other factors that go into it, and you know, it's not all about luck, but there's probably a bit more percentage luck in things that happen around you than there would be in rally.
Yep. And there's a big strategy that goes into when you're going to do your tire changes and things like that, right?
Yeah. And in the lower class that I am racing F1 Academy, it's a lot more about the driver. The cars are all base set up the same. They're all made by Tatis, like they're a base chassis. Versus in F1, the teams build the cars to certain specifications and everything like that, and you have pit stops. Ours is a lot more simple. But yes, once you get up into that stuff, it gets very, very complicated. And even though I've been in for 2 years, I still don't understand anything. But yeah, rally has a bunch of those complications, just maybe not as much during the race.
Cool. Well, I think it's a good time to take it back and just talk about what your life looked like growing up and your childhood and who you grew up around, you know, going with your dad to races and all of that. I'd love to hear you talk about that. Yeah,
well, I guess I was born in Rancho Santa Fe, which is right outside of San Diego. So I lived there until I was about 10 or 11. So I grew up going to the beach, and, you know, I grew up with Jeremy McGrath's kids. They were my best friends. So I grew up around a lot of people that I didn't know how influential they were in different sports. Which is, I'm really grateful. You know, I kind of won the lottery in what family I was born into. So I had a unique experience growing up, and with my siblings, like, we lived at the Mountain Lab for years. You know, having a ski resort in your backyard was insane. And then, yeah, most of my life has been here in Park City. So I've done anything and everything from skiing, snowboarding, skateboarding. I did figure skating, tennis, basketball. Like, I could go on, you know. It's been such a great place to grow up in and be able to do so many different things. But mostly traveling a lot my life. So I never went to real school besides 1 year. I went to my sophomore year of high school. I went to a real high school. But yeah, most of my education was in different parts of the world. You know, seeing different cultures growing up, being in different paddocks around the world with my dad, racing WRC, and then what was it called? What was the one series in here? Well, there was Nitro, and then there was GRC, and then World Rallycross. So grew up around a lot of different people, going to a lot of different places. It was, yeah, quite a unique way to grow up, I would say, compared to a lot of people.
That's amazing. Well, speaking of people that you grew up around, we got a question from none other than Todd Richards. Here we go.
Hi, Leah. It's Todd Richards. I've got a question for you here on the bomb hole. Actually, I've got two questions. The first is, what is your first motorsport memory? And second, what is your most memorable rollover in the car? And was either your mom or your dad in the car? Okay, hope this goes well. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to listen.
Oh, I love that. Such Todd questions, too. The random stuff. What was the first one?
First memory doing motorsports, or?
Okay, doing motorsports, I would say my dad, when we lived in Rancho Santa Fe, we had this, like, circular driveway kind of thing, and I remember my dad coming home, and he had his truck, and in the back of his truck was an electric go-kart, and it was my first time ever driving, like, anything besides, I had an electric, like, John Deere tractor thingy, and I remember just getting in that thing for the first time and just doing circles around this driveway for hours. And that was, like, my first real taste. I can remember that very, like, hazily, you know? That's not the right word, but that was probably my first true memory of being in any type of vehicle, you know, driving myself.
And then the second one was most memorable rollover.
See, unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, my mom nor my dad had ever rolled me in any sort of vehicle, but Travis has. So I was racing in Oklahoma, a Nitrocross race about 3 years ago. And Travis was like, oh, just get in my car. I'll take you around the track. We can learn it together. And he was trying like this hip jump that he kind of went sideways over. And it was in the electric nitro car, so it's a really heavy thing. The first time we kind of landed on two wheels, and he was like, oh, I think I need a little bit more speed. Let's try it again. Go around, just a little too high, landed on the side, rolled over, and the whole time he's going, sorry. Are you okay? Sorry. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Thanks. That was the first and last time I'll ever be getting in a vehicle with Travis Pastrana.
Yeah.
So.
Those things do seem scary. Like I watched you race the electric class here at Miller for the nitro thing last summer.
Yeah.
They are, the cars that are racing the electric class are so fast.
They're so fast.
It's crazy. Like it seems terrifying.
Yeah. And I guess I can talk about this now because the series is over, but since they are electric, there's a lot of things that can go wrong really fast. So the first time I ever drove one of those cars was Travis's car in Glen Helen. And that, almost every track we go to has a gap jump. And it was, I think, the LCQ or one of the heats. Probably halfway through, I was going off the lip and everything just shut off in the car. And I landed nose first, like barely made it over the jump. And like, at the time, I didn't know what happened, didn't realize what happened, but the car just shut off, right? Got back, and I was like, after thinking about it, I was a little shaken up because I was like, if that would have happened any earlier before the lip of that jump, I would have been nose down in the gap, you know? That's a dangerous thing to happen. So it's like things like that can happen with an electric car. It really sketches you out. And when you see the racing, it's cool and all, and the cars are insane to drive. They're so fast. But they're so heavy. And with electric stuff, the wire just shortcut. And I think that what happened was one of the motors just like fried itself. And the car just turned off.
Oh.
And it's like you're going over a gap jump and
Yeah, 50
can't do
feet
anything.
earlier that thing shuts off.
Yeah.
You're cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's like
scary.
things that can happen like that in motorsports. But especially with an electric car, things like that, you're like, ooh, do I really want to get back in? I mean, I did, but you know.
Yeah. Cool. Well, so you first found it sounds like that electric cart or whatever it was that you had when you were a little kid, but I remember you guys started karting like pretty young, right? Racing go-karts?
My brother did, yeah.
Okay.
He was about, I think, 8 when he started, but I started in off-road short course. We had
Hold on. I hate to interrupt you. We got a question from your mom about this.
No.
Okay, here we go.
Hi, Leah. I think you're about 11, and you raced your first races in the Lucas Oil Off-Road Series. You learned a few things. Tell us about it.
She read my mind. She knew where I was going with this. Yeah, so that was my first time I'd ever raced a car or a vehicle, anything like that. So it was a little Razor 570, like a base class, and they had to race like every 2 weekends in the summer. And I was definitely way too confident and probably cocky when I first started. Like I had, went way too hard, not knowing how to drive, basically. I think the first weekend I flipped 3 times, twice in the same corner. So then that dulled my confidence a little bit. But my dad always said, like, he's like, it's easier to bring down someone than try to build them up, you know? So starting like that, I got some stuff out of the way, you know? But as an 11-year-old, I guess I just had no fear with that stuff. And someone would just come back off track and push the car back over, and I just keep going. So, I mean, that's how it started. But those were some fun days, for sure.
That's amazing. I mean, I've been to the grid with you guys, the Block family. And, you know, I know you guys through snowboarding. Not a motor, you know, we ride dirt bikes and stuff, but nothing, I don't have any kart background, but I was blown away at how much everyone in your family yarded me. Like it wasn't even, I wasn't even within like 3 seconds, 4 seconds. It was like 10, I feel like it was like 10 or 15 seconds a lap faster. You guys are weapons when it comes to four wheels. I can say from personal experience.
It's also just the competitiveness, you know? None of us would be racing if we weren't competitive, that's for sure.
Yeah, you guys were jamming around. And I got to ask too, because, you know, spending some time with your dad, he talked a lot of shit, okay? I think about when I go up at the ranch and he look over at me and go, Grenier, more this, which I'm motioning for the listeners, throttle, more gas, right? And I can still hear him when I'm riding my dirt bike talking shit to me where he's like, more gas, because I'm kind of soft on the throttle. Do you have that with your dad where you can kind of hear him chiming in your ear when you're racing ever?
I mean, to be honest, my dad kind of stepped back in the beginning and let me figure it out myself. Like, if I ever asked for advice or anything, he would give it to me, but I think he wanted me to figure it out on my own.
Yep.
And I've also always been a very independent person. I've always wanted to do things by myself. And I actually struggle with asking for help sometimes. But I always, you know, was such a humble person, you know, so I'm really glad that I grew up seeing that. And I think that's definitely shaped the way that I am today, you know, especially I talk about starting out very cocky, which I did, but I was slowly knocked down, you know, and I learned that as an 11-year-old, you know, you don't really know much. So for me, I've grown up like learning by watching. And my mom was always the person that would talk shit to me and be like, you're doing this wrong. But my dad would always just step back and let me figure it out myself, which I think it's been really helpful in my career even now, which I think it's a great way to parent in a way, you know, and I've turned out okay, I think.
It's unreal. You're 18 years old. You got a list of accolades a mile freaking long. It's that's the thing that trips me out, Leah. It's absolutely nuts. And when I think about like one of the first major steps that you took in motorsports, I feel like a really big deal was the Hoonicorn. When you first jumped in that 14,000.
I always think back on it. I'm like, who the hell would let a 14-year-old drive this car? Why did they let me do that? Right? Like nothing happened like bad in any way, but it's just like, yeah, that was a bad idea. I just feel like
14,000 horsepower.
14,000 horsepower car.
Yeah.
And I was 14 years old. I'd had no drifting, no drag racing experience, period, before that. And yeah, Brian sat me down. My dad was behind the camera and they asked me the question. And I was like, hell yes, of course. But yeah, still looking back on it, it's a pretty insane thing, you know, like, wow, that was, I mean, obviously it was a huge turning point in my career. Like that was the first time I really was ever in front of the camera in a way. I mean, I learned how to do donuts in my dad's Escort before that, but at this time it was really just kind of me, you know, in front of the camera, which is cool because I was always behind the camera and my dad was both of my parents were very, you know, sensitive about what age we could be on camera for safety and everything like that. But that car is insane, and I still like get scared to drive it, to be honest. Like it's insane.
I watched the whole video of you learning how to drive it the first time you go out. Were you shook the first time you just hammered that thing down and started doing donuts? Yeah,
I mean, it wants to kill you, literally. Like, that's what it feels like, and it can get out of control so quickly, you know? But, yeah, I mean, I remember the first time, like, all the build-up to it, we went and saw Lia Pruitt, and she helped me with, you know, we went to I think we were in Illinois? I don't know. Somewhere at a drag strip, and we did all the prep for it, but I don't think anything can really prepare you for that car in any way.
Especially when you did the actual drag race, you got up to 178 or 180 or what was it?
I think it was 176.
176 miles an hour.
Yeah. Down like a runway that was bumpy and like just that was stupid.
That was actually really sketchy.
Yeah.
Like I watched it and then you drag race a NHRA Corvette and like that thing's like the back end stepping out when you guys are doing the 1,000 foot one.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was watching, I was like, this is sketchy. You shouldn't be doing this. Like,
no, especially when we were doing the 1,000 meters, because the end of the dragway wasn't that long past then. So getting on the brakes instantly when you're at the flag, it's super sketchy to actually get to stops before the fence. One time when I was first like just practicing before we even started shooting, I had my dad in the car and we did the 1,000, and I locked up the brakes and went sideways and stopped with my rear 2 inches from that fence. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. But then I started like dying laughing, and my dad did too. Like, it was just like such an insane experience. And like looking back on it now, like that was like one of the coolest things I had ever done. And still to this day, and probably the most fun. Like all the Hoonigan guys there, you know, doing 3 days of shooting with meeting all these different people and racing different cars, like so fun.
yeah, to me, that felt like a place where you kind of proved yourself. Like that was the first time that I mean, at me seeing you in front of camera, like you were able to like prove that you're good at you're really freaking good at this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Brian or my dad or Derek, for that matter, knew how it was going to go or if I could even do it. You know, they had a plan B if I wasn't going to be able to race, you know, or control the car. But I think, I don't know, I was kind of so oblivious back then that I don't think really I knew how big of a thing this was, or how it was going to change my career, because obviously I didn't know the extent of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think it impressed a lot of people back then and kind of made a lot of headlines, which was pretty cool to see. I remember like being that young, like I still have screenshots of like news articles of people saying stuff about me after that, which is bizarre at that age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well said. That was really cool. And then that seems like, I mean, was that the jumping point off for really going after this as a career? Or was it before?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, it's like I tried, as I said before, I tried so many different sports growing up, but I always kind of came back to the racing without knowing it. And I think that's the point that I realized that I really did love doing this crazy fast stuff, and could actually make a career out of it. But at the end of the day, it's all because I love to race and I love that adrenaline rush and I enjoy it. So it doesn't ever feel like a job. Mm-hmm. And then obviously all the stuff on the side, what you have to do to be able to go race, you know. But I think that was definitely a turning point, because I started rallying the next year. You know, it really kind of got the ball rolling in my career.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lizard King here. And I've got a fantastic new product for you. It's Run Through a Wall nasal strips. Eucalyptus flavored, 30 in a pack. And it will make your life 25% better. Do you sleep next to someone that's constantly snoring, ruining your life, making it so you're groggy, grumpy, and angry in the morning? Buy them some nasal strips from runthroughawall.com. It's a fabulous website. We've got breathing salts. We've got nasal strips. Go to runthroughawall.com, type in Lizard King at the checkout, and you can get yourself 10% off. Good to see you.
Okay, people, breaking news. Bombhole's doing Adult Camp Week at Woodward, August 10th to 15th. Now, if you're an adult that wants to go to summer camp, learn some new tricks, and have an awesome time, I highly recommend checking out Woodward Copper. We'll be there bringing the vibes. We're coming through with Seth Hewitt, Joey B, how you doing, myself. We're going to be having a blast on hill. They got some of the best coaches on planet Earth. It's also for all ability levels, whether you're a beginner, new to park riding, or you're an advanced rider. There's stuff for everybody. They got all different size features. They got the indoor facility in the barn. If you want to chuck on a rollerboard into a foam pit and then take it to snow, they got you covered. Great skateboarding setup. There's golf. You're at high elevation. The ball flies very far. So I recommend checking out coppercolorado.com, signing up for adult camp. We'll be there again August 10th to 15th for Bomb Hole Week. We'll see you guys there. I got a random question for you. You know, we always talk about style in our world, right? Like, it's all about having good style in what you do on your board. And in racing, it's all about lap times. It's all about speed. You got to be faster than the other person. It's kind of just factual, you know? It's not subjective. But do you feel like you can have style in a race car?
Well, absolutely. I mean, there's two sides to the motorsport world. There is that straight up competitiveness, the factual, the lap times or the stage times, whatever, that truly makes you a competitive driver or a great driver. But there is also the other side of the marketing world and the liveries and the designs that you put on your car and what you show on social media from your sponsors. So it's a world where you have to mix those two things to really stand out. And to be able to get those sponsors, you have to be good. But to be able to be good, you have to get the sponsors to fund for that racing, you know? So it's like a whole circle of things. And for me, watching my dad and growing up, like, always had cool livery launches, always had fun things going on with sponsors and doing the gymkhanas on the side. You know, he did it in such a different world, in such a different way, and I think that, you know, is just the way that I saw him do it. So that's the way that I shaped my career or am shaping my career. My favorite thing is to go in and design a helmet or design a car, you know, kind of. I like to be hands-on with that stuff. So I come up with ideas and work with whoever I'm working with as a designer to kind of put whatever is in my brain into reality and put it on a car, right? That is the style of motorsports. And in Formula One, it's not as much because you have all the corporate money from the race teams and everything that needs to look like this and this. And the only thing you can really customize is your helmet. Versus rally, you can do whatever you want, basically, if you're funding it. So that's what I love in the off-road world is how creative you can be with what kind of art you put on the side of your car. You know, how do you make yourself stand out compared to everybody else?
Cool. That was beautifully answered, Leah. That was awesome. Cool. We're going to jump into a question from Circe Wallace here, if I can find it. 1 second. Here we go.
Hi, Leah. So fun for you to be on the bomb hole. This is Circe, and I am calling in with a question. I wanted to ask, with motorsport having historically been so male-dominated, and you certainly part of the movement in changing that, what has some of the biggest challenges been for you as a young woman in the sport? And how do you tackle those challenges in ways that continue to allow for confidence and optimism in what sometimes can be very challenging environments? And a second part of that I wanted to ask is you've been in the spotlight not only as a talented driver and athlete, but also someone carrying a family legacy, which I know is a lot and challenging at times. And I think that the community would be interested in hearing in what is important for you to carry on as part of that legacy, and also what is important to you to also achieve in your own right as a young woman and the next gen of race car drivers. I love you and look forward to listening to this episode.
Oh, I love Circe. Circe is now my agent at Wasserman, which is another cool part of, you know, growing up in such a tight community in the snowboarding and skateboarding world. She's one of my aunties, you know. I grew up, she was very close with my dad and mom, you know, in the past. So having her as a, you know, strong female role model for me, as well as representing me in the brand and you know, agent world, is pretty awesome. So we've been working together for the past year now. It's been pretty awesome. So, yeah, I guess that was a long question.
Four-part question.
Four-part question. I mean, I guess a big part of that is being a female in such a male-dominated sport is always going to be difficult. But one of the biggest struggles for me is always trying to balance what feminism I put out on social media versus what the male audience wants to see as in racing. Because it all comes back down to money and how I get my racing funded. Now that I'm 18 and when I started F1 Academy, I am paying for all of my racing. So everything has to come down to what sponsorship money can I get out of and how do I promote this sponsor the best way I can. So how do I get the most views for them? How do we get the most likes? How do we get them the most exposure so that they're willing to pay for my racing? And people get, obviously, you're always going to have those negative comments on social media, whatever, but it's about balancing pleasing everyone, you know, in that way, but also keeping yourself, I wouldn't say, like, how do I say this? Credible as a driver, you know, which is a hard thing to do when you're a female. And everybody will always come for you based on talent, which you can always have things to back it up, but people will still say stuff, you know? But in a way, I've kind of just had to let go of some of that. But it's always going to be a struggle to, you know, what if I was sponsored by a makeup company? You know, people be, oh, why are you, like, putting on mascara before you're getting in a race car, right? Like, there's always going to be those people. How am I supposed to pay for my racing then if I don't do this, if I don't post this social media post, you know? So it's about balancing, yeah, everybody's expectations of who you are and what you put out on the internet. What was the other part of that comment?
Well, I want to lean into this for a second too, because do you feel like you had female role models in racing to look up to as a kid?
To be honest, no. I mean, I really had my mom, which obviously that was a very big part of my life. Her racing rally when my dad would. I mean, it'd be occasional, like, but she raced a lot when I was racing. So I always had her and never was shown otherwise that I couldn't do something or told that I couldn't do something. My dad, my mom, both of them always supported me when I did competitive dance, when I did basketball, skateboarding, skiing. Like, they were always there. They never told me no, I couldn't do something. So I think that's just shaped my view of the motorsport world and just how to approach any type of sport. Yeah, definitely forgot that question. Sorry.
Just asking about female role models in motorsports.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in the beginning, it was really only my mom. So eventually, as I grew up, I learned about Michelle Mouton, which she is still now a huge inspiration in my life. But I didn't really have that in the beginning besides my mom. So I think going forward, like, what I really want to do is become that for someone, you know, and try to put myself in the best light possible to try to help and facilitate, you know, being that person that someone can look up to, and some little girl can see me on social media and be like, I can do this, you know, this is possible, and it's not just for men, you know, which we've definitely seen a huge switch, not even in just motorsports, but female sports in general, of just viewers and people actually paying more attention to it. So it's been a shift, but obviously it still has to change a bit more, you know, and it will. But I do wish I had someone like that in the beginning, and I wish that for other girls maybe my age.
Yeah, totally. And the difference between, it's kind of interesting when you look at the F1 Academy stuff, it's a paddock of all female racers. But then when you go race off-road or you go race rally, it's not a gender related class, right? You're just racing whatever you sign up for.
Well, F1 Academy is kind of one of a kind right now, and I think it should stay like that. For me, like growing up and doing the karting after the short course stuff, I was the only girl in basically the entire series, besides my sister when she started racing a couple years later. Now I'll go down to the Utah Motorsports campus, and there'll be maybe 1 or 2 girls in each class. You know, it's a small shift, but a really big win in terms of, you know, how that has taken so long to become like that. So I think generally it should never be we have a women's F1, a men's F1. Like, we are so lucky that this sport is so, I'm not going to say inclusive because it's not, but it's like there's nothing holding a woman back physically or mentally from competing at the highest level. And we've seen it done before. There have been women in F1. There have been women in WRC. There have been women that's won in WRC. Michelle Mouton. Like, it's not impossible. There's just certain steps that have to be made to be able to get there.
God, that was beautifully said, Leah.
Thank you.
Sometimes
I come up with good things, you know?
And then there was the first part of Cersei's question, or maybe the second part, was kind of, you know, obviously Ken casting a big shadow and talking about the challenges of kind of carrying that legacy, and maybe being in that shadow is kind of how I heard it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was given this amazing opportunities from when I was at a young age, and these doors opened for me to be able to try these different things in motorsport, and I chose to pursue it. So I was probably in one of the luckiest positions in this world to be able to do what I am doing now. But I think for me, it's my career as well. So I'm not doing this just because it's a legacy. I'm doing it because I love to race, and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. But also carrying that on and helping my siblings as well. My brother is very much into it, and my sister, she's a very unique person, and she loves horses, but she also loves racing, so we'll see where she goes in the future, you know? But to help them the way my dad helped me, you know, try and help them and open those doors for them. And just going forward and keep doing what I love, because I know that's what he would want me to do. And he gave me all these tools for a reason. So why shouldn't I be using them?
Yeah, well said. Now, you being just a certified badass champion race car driver that has cemented your own legacy, is it challenging at times when, you know, Ken has such a big name that people maybe refer to you as Ken Block's daughter, or, you know, does that get annoying, or is it challenging to kind of navigate that at times?
Sometimes, yes. I would say 2 years ago, I really struggled with that. Obviously, when I first came in, I was always Ken Block's daughter. Nobody really knew what my name was. But now that I've gotten to a point in the career where I've, you know, created my own name and I have my, you know, own list of accolades, like you said, I've won a championship. Like, it's fine. I mean, I'm proud to be Ken Block's daughter. I'm here because of him. You know, he shaped who I am today, and like has left such a big impact on so many people in this world. So I'm happy to be called Ken Block's daughter any day.
Yeah, well said. And he's proud as well, I'm sure. So it's really cool to hear where you've taken it and seen where you've taken it. And I want to just jump into rally here for a second, because that championship year 2023 two-wheel drive rally, youngest champion at 16 years old.
Yep.
God damn, Leah. That's insane.
Yep.
It's insane. So yeah, walk us through that season and what transpired.
Yeah, I mean, it was the season flew by, to be honest. Like, that was my first time ever racing a rear-wheel drive car. So in American Rally, front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive are the same class. That's why it's called open two-wheel drive. But the previous year was my first year racing a full season rally, and I was in a front-wheel drive R2T. which is a very underpowered car, but in the same class. So I think my highest finish that year was a 3rd in Southern Ohio. So it was a big change for me going to rear-wheel drive. I was lucky enough to have Rhiannon Gelsomino as my co-driver, who has been Travis Pastrana's co-driver for many, many years, and she raced with her brother Brendo Reeves in a JWRC for a long time. So she's very experienced, and she's been an aunt to me growing up as well. So it was it was a tough season, to be honest, like losing my dad that year, you know, like it made me feel like I really wanted to do it for him and for myself as well. You know, having fun in a rally car always made me, you know, go back to him and what he loved and just enjoy it. I definitely did not expect to win going into it at all. But we almost had a perfect season. The first rally I got 2nd. And then I won everyone to the end. But it was tough, but we actually had no big moments that year, which is very unusual in rally. But we worked our asses off. Like, we did a lot of work, and just to see the boys' faces at the end of a rally, us 2 girls standing on top of the podium, like, it's such a good feeling, you know? But you know, so we call it like at the stage start, you're waiting for your time card you have a specific time to go into the staging part to start the stage. But since we're in a rear-wheel drive car, the rear tires get much more used than the front. So we would do this thing called a front to rear, which was we would change front tires to the rear tires like halfway through a stage stint. And the 2 boys that we were most competing against for the championship would just sit there and stare at us, doing nothing. And we would do it like almost every 2 stages, front to rear, and they would just stand there and stare at us. So we really did put in all of the work, and it made it feel really good. I mean, we won it 2 rallies early, the championship. We were that far ahead. So, I mean, still, like, now it's a big accomplishment, right? Like, I was the youngest ever to win an area championship, the only female to do it. I had an almost perfect season. You know, it was like ticking all the boxes. But I mean, looking back at it, it's a big accomplishment, but it's not everything I want. You know, I have so many things I want to accomplish in the future.
That's so gangster. Well, I want to get into that some more, but I was talking to Circe, and obviously the insurmountable loss of losing your father in that season. I can't even pretend to be able to relate because I can't imagine. But Circe mentioned that she thought that you maybe used the kind of the heavy grief as maybe motivation or fuel for the car. Or was the car an escape? Like, how did your relationship with racing cars kind of interact with the grief of losing your father?
I mean, I think it's a bit of both. Like, definitely fuel for sure. Like, I was so focused that year, and I think that was the one thing that I could like still feel like really close to my dad is by doing that. And I think also I just wanted to show the world that it's not over for us. You know, we're still doing it. And I remember my mom saying that we're never racing again. This was like maybe a couple days after it happened, right? But that's never what my dad would want, you know? So we all went racing again. We had so much fun, but for sure it was fueling me, you know, like I wanted to do this so bad, and that kind of just like really kicked it in, and at the end of the day, like, it was for him. So I really enjoyed it, and it was hard work, but, you know, we got it done.
Well, he's proud of you. We're proud of you, Lia. It's so fucking gangster.
Thank you.
You're killing it. And then, you know, I want to talk about ride-alongs too, because I've had the pleasure of doing a ride-along with your dad, and then my wife, we go to the ranch, and you were doing side-by-side ride-alongs, and she was hesitant to get in the car, and I was like, no, she's a professional race car driver. As a professional race car driver still have bad days. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, you probably don't even remember, but she had the time of her life. And do you love when you get to throw somebody in the passenger seat and just scare the ever living shit out of them?
Oh yes, that's like my only enjoyment in life. You know, just like It's so fun because, like, when people either just don't really know much about racing or the skill that it takes, and you throw them in the passenger seat of a rally car or any type of off-road vehicle, and they're scared shitless. And even when you throw me in the passenger seat of anything, I'm scared shitless. So I can't imagine how they feel, right? But yeah, that I get a lot of joy out of taking people for rides. So.
Yeah. That's so fun. All right, we're gonna get into a segment of the show. Seth, you know what segment that might be?
I think it's time to rip a salt.
Boy.
Well, we can do that.
Hit the gas.
And play a little game called Name That Video Part. I'm gonna hit a smelling salt. You don't have to, Leah. No pressure.
Oh boy, I've never done them, so I don't know if this is a good time to do it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. All right.
Perfect.
So we normally do snowboard video parts, but you're a race car driver. So
Well, I know some snowboard videos, just maybe not as much as normal people you have on this show.
I went on a different route. We chose to do name that rev limiter. Okay.
Oh shit.
So we're gonna play the sound of a car. One car. You have to tell us what car that is.
Okay.
Here we go.
You can stop now. I already know.
Okay, what is
It's
it?
a Hoonicorn.
Congratulations.
That was easy. You gave me way too an easy one.
I mean, I wouldn't have been able to get that. Maybe easy for you, not for any other civilians.
I know it was a car.
Yeah. Hey. Good guess.
All right, you won. You won a prize pack.
Sick.
It's filled with bomb hole gear. If you got that wrong, that would be ours. We wouldn't give it to you.
Shoot.
So you want.
Good thing I got it right.
Yeah, there's some stuff for Micah and Kira in there, and
they'll love it.
We loaded it up.
Thank you.
And yeah, and part 2 of Name That Video Part. This is for the listeners, so you don't have to answer this. But if you know the snowboard video rider and rider, comment on the photo of Leah when this comes out. That's where we pick our winner. Here we go, and good luck.
Come on, lights, cameras, action, it's on.
Okay, thank you guys for playing Name That Video Part. All right, let me tell you what I'm excited about, people. These Bubs Naturals Hydrate or Die hydration packs. We are hammering these things at the office all day long. I'm drinking these on the daily, staying hydrated, whether I'm just at work or I'm out getting after it on my snowboard. And one thing people should know is that 75% of Americans are dehydrated. You're talking about losing strength, focus, endurance. You can have some brain fog. So let's hear the science. Your body needs electrolytes. We're talking sodium, potassium, magnesium to actually pull water into your cells. That's where Bubs Hydrate or Die comes in. It's based on oral rehydration solution science, a blend of sodium and glucose that pushes hydration directly into your bloodstream fast. We're talking 2 to 3 times faster than water alone. That's not hype, that's actual data. So whether you're flying, you're climbing, you're drinking, you're working, or you're just up at altitude, you're losing more than you think when it comes to water. Hydrate or Die brings it back. We're talking 2,000 milligrams of electrolytes per pack, cane sugar only, no sketchy sweeteners, and it's NSF certified for sport. It's clean, tested, and made in the USA. And let me tell you something, this new formulation tastes really, really good. So hydration's not optional. It's the cheat code to keep going. Hydrate smart, hydrate clean, hydrate or die. Head on over to bubsnaturals.com, grab a box. Your muscles, your brain, and your send will thank you. It's bomb hole approved. Let's do this. All right, the folks over at Yeti made another great product. We're talking about the Hopper M20 Soft Backpack Cooler. Now, this thing is a cooler that looks like a backpack. It's got shoulder straps, and you're hands-free with this bad Larry. You can go anywhere. And it's summer coming up, warm weather. You know what's nice on a warm day is an ice-cold beverage, maybe a sandwich. So you can load this thing up with all your drinks, all your food, chuck some ice in there, and then it's got a magnetic seal at the top so you can seal in all that cold air. loaded up full of beers, and you are a golden god on any adventure. You're going kayaking, you're dialed. You're going skateboarding, you're dialed. You're going on a hike, you're dialed in. So check out the Hopper M20 soft backpack cooler. The Hopper M20 is the cooler that goes where other coolers can't. Get dialed in. All right, we haven't hit any Patreon questions yet. Seth, we got any heaters in there?
We do, Chris. We got one here from the Cake Pound crew. They say, "Yo, Leah, what's up? So it looks like your dad had some of the best, raddest homies on the planet around all the time. Growing up, who was your fave and why? Thanks, can't wait to hear."
Who's my fave?
That's a hard question.
That's such a hard
loaded question.
Jeez.
Let me just list off a few before you pick your fave.
All right.
Who is around?
Go for it.
No, you do.
Oh, I thought you were doing. Okay. Well, I mean, there's too many, to be honest.
I mean, you got Uncle Ricky.
Uncle Ricky, I got...
Ricky Carmichael, for the people listening. That's pretty major.
Yeah. I got Salema Masakela.
Yep.
He's a big part. Got Pierre.
Sidebar.
Sidebar.
Do you know how you got your name?
I do know how I got my name.
How'd you get your name?
It was off of one of Pierre's lists.
It is, okay.
It's also a town in Norway.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Shout out to Pierre Wickberg.
Yep, Kira, Leah, and Micah. They were all off that list.
Scandinavian names. Yep, spelled all weird.
Spelled all weird. Everybody's like L-E-H. No, L-I-A.
Okay, so you got Pierre. You got Todd Richards.
Yeah.
Uncle Todd.
Uncle Todd. I mean, I have Danny and Damon. God, I can't. I'm like blanking right now. There's too many. Like, I mean, so many people have influenced, and just like I've grown up having so many uncles and aunties, like, and it's been incredible because I've been influenced by so many different people, and get to see them. I was just at Goodwood a week ago, and to see so many people from the motorsport world that I grew up knowing as well, like. I mean, there's too many people to pick a favorite and too many names to name, but I would say the funnest one is probably Travis. Obviously, he always has us do some crazy shit, and then I always have some really good talks with Salema, some good life advice, always. And then Todd's like the crazy uncle, and you need to cover up a murder, Todd's there.
That's good stuff. All right, I'm going to take it somewhere totally random, but I think it was 4-3 day, you were snowboarding. I announced you were snowboarding, or maybe you were skiing. I don't remember.
No, I was definitely snowboarding. I don't want to embarrass myself.
Yeah, but you do ski.
I do ski.
What's up with that?
Okay, to preface, so this is my mom's fault, to be honest, because when I was younger, I learned to ski first because it was the easiest way my mom could teach me how to be on snow, and I think I was like 5. So I grew up skiing, and I actually was on a ski team in Park City. I went to Aspen for like the junior nationals, something. Yeah, and I still enjoy doing it, but I do enjoy snowboarding more. We've always gone up to Baldface with the Pensiero fam since, I think I was like maybe 13 when we started doing that, so I just love some good POW. And snowboarding's always been one of the funnest things. I mean, I've never actually been really good at it. I did the park team snowboarding for a little bit, but...
I actually would like to challenge you on that. Can you backflip?
No, I can't land it, but I can do a backflip, but I can't land it.
Okay, so you flipped a backflip.
Oh, I flipped a backflip. Okay. Yeah, many times.
So you can basically backflip.
Sure.
So then, you know what? That makes you good at snowboarding. If you can get it around to your feet, I'm claiming you're good.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, we would always build jumps up at Baldface. We'd go up there for Christmas morning. We'd go out, make a bonfire, have the cats. We'd do a run, and we'd always build this big jump into just the powder field. And we would just all huck it all day trying to land one. Estelle probably is the only one that would land it. I don't know. I don't know nowadays.
Somebody was on the show talking about how Lewis Hamilton did a backflip up there. Were you up there when that happened?
Yeah.
Wow. Allegedly, we should say for legal purposes.
Yeah, allegedly, Lewis was up there. I do remember him playing the guitar up there for us.
Not snowboarding.
Not snowboarding.
He wasn't snowboarding.
No, he was just hanging out. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people I've met along the way, just like Lewis. Yeah, I mean,
But going back to that, I remember on the microphone, I was like, oh, Leah's dropping it. And you came over to me and you're like, what the hell? I'm not supposed to be.
Oh yeah, I'm not supposed to be snowboarding.
Like, no, in your rider contract for racing contract, you're not supposed to be on a snowboard?
So when I signed that contract, well, we were going to look over that contract. It was like, no paragliding, no jumping out of airplanes, no snowboarding, no skiing. I think it said no surfing too. Like, there's a bunch of different things, and I was like, no, like, motorcycle riding. And I had to go back to them, and I was like, hey, guys. This is my whole life. You can't take that away from me. Sorry. So, like, we came to, like, an agreement saying, like, I could snowboard, but I wasn't allowed to, like, jump or, like, do rails and stuff like that. But I could do it safely. So, technically, I'm not allowed to post that stuff.
Okay, got it.
We're just going to say, yeah, I snowboard very safely nowadays.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you definitely don't catch air on your dirt bike.
Nope.
That's a fact. I can vouch for that.
I mean, like, for me, it's still, like, I enjoy doing all of those things, but it would absolutely kill me if I got hurt doing something else and I couldn't race. Like, that would devastate me, just personally. I know that it's, like, obviously liability, and I'm racing for a team and I have a contract and all that, but personally, that would also destroy me if I couldn't race 100%. Because I got hurt. So,
but, you know, it is crazy to think, like, there's so much pressure and so much money behind you that people are like, she can't get hurt no matter what. It makes me think of NFL quarterbacks. Like, I heard a story of one of the quarterbacks, I can't remember which one, but he was skateboarding in his neighborhood, in his cul-de-sac, and somebody in the neighborhood called the police on him because they're like, our quarterback is skateboarding.
No.
What if our team loses? This can't be good. But it's like, but like you're in that kind of, you know, level of pressure in terms of, you know, a lot of people are invested in what you do in a race car.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, to look at it in a different way, like, F1 drivers, like, do a lot of cycling, right? You could be hit by a car cycling on the road, you know? You could be hit walking across the street. Like, there's so many things that can happen. Like, that's why I'd never say I wouldn't snowboard. I wouldn't go mountain biking, whatever, ride my dirt bike, because there's so many things that can happen, and why not enjoy your life while you can, you know?
Well said. Well, you're talking about snowboarding, you're talking about bald face. So that leads me to a question from none other than Jeff Pensero from Bald Face. Here we go.
Hey, Leah. It's Jeff here. How are you? Look at you on the bomb hole. So rad. Okay, I get to ask you a question. And I've really been thinking about what question I want to ask you. But this is the question. This is my question. If you could bump any driver in any car from this year's grid on F1, whose seat would you take? That's my first question. And the part two of it is, and which track, which race would you want to race that car in? I'm so excited to hear your answer. And I should probably ask a snowboarding question too. Where's your favorite place to go snowboarding? Okay, love you, kid. Proud of you. Talk to you later.
That's not a question I was expecting out of Jeff, but that's also a hard question too, because it could be really controversial.
I think that's what he's going for.
But it's like, okay, if I could take somebody's seat, I would have to pick the best car, right? But if I had to kick someone out, then I'd have to kick out a driver that I don't like, which I'm not going to say that. But I would say I would take, obviously, one of the McLaren boys' seats. They've got the best car currently. And I'd go to my favorite track, which is Singapore.
Ooh.
Yep.
Why you like Singapore?
Because it's bumpy and it's sketchy and there's a lot of walls, which are kind of like trees in rally, so it doesn't scare me too much. Somehow it just makes it more fun. You get more adrenaline out of it when you're like literally centimeters away from a wall, but you just make it and you're like, oh shit, I was a little close, but that's gonna be fast.
Yeah. Amazing. Good answer. Is that one of the windy ones?
No, so Singapore is it's a street circuit. So it's on the streets of Singapore. They shut down these streets for a weekend. So it's like roads that people drive on every single day. So they're bumpy. It's not a traditional track. It's not not paved, it's not permanent.
There's manholes.
So, yeah, there's manholes. Like it's bumpy. So I think that's why. And then you just have like the atmosphere of Singapore at night. Like it's just a all around amazing track.
Cool. And part 2 of his question was, where's your favorite place to go snowboarding?
Definitely not Baldface.
Yeah, good. You can't say Baldface. That's such a bullshit question from Jeff. Oh, she goes to Baldface all the time. Where's your favorite place to go snowboarding? He's trying to pump his own tires right there.
But,
so don't give him that. You gotta say somewhere else.
I'm going to say it's either Baldface or Japan. We used to go to Japan every year for the Tokyo Auto Show, and then we go up to the North Island to go snowboarding, and it would just dump every single day. It was some of the best snow I've ever had. I need to go back like this year. So for sure. But Baldface just has so many good memories of it's always a family thing. We go up with the Pensieros and some other friends and just snowboard every day for Christmas. And it's just, some of the best time I have all year.
Okay, so Japan, I'm not going to accept Baldface because he's trying to pump his own tires, and we also won't judge you for skiing. We all have skeletons in our closet. Okay, moving on. We're going to keep things moving here. One of the major notes I have here is the Pikes Peak in the Porsche. That's a lot of P's there.
Yeah.
That's for those who don't know, very iconic race. Is it the most iconic?
It's probably one of them. Yeah, it's probably the most iconic hill climb in the world.
And you got to do it in the pink Porsche. What's that thing called?
Hoonipegasus.
Yeah, the Hoonipegasus things. And freaking
so
Gucci Ghost, Trevor Andrew livery on it.
I think it's my favorite livery just because it's pink.
It's so good. Yeah. So cool.
It's such a unique car. I mean, when I was seeing concepts of it, when my dad was, coming up with this idea and this project to go race Pikes, just blown away by it. One of the coolest things I always look back on what my dad was able to create is he was so open to working with so many different brands and having the flexibility to do so many different cool projects. And the Hoonipegasus was one of them. And to be able to race at Pikes Peak, it's never truly been a dream of mine, but it's something so iconic that, once you do it once, it's that is, a bucket list item. So doing that and waking up at 2 a.m. to go to the bottom of the mountain to do your practice runs and run halfway up the hill or whatever you do, it's just like a whole experience, and for me to do it in that car, it's just so fun. For me, they were all like, oh, you're just going to, drive up, kind of wave to fans, do this, because it was just a tribute run. It wasn't it wasn't timed.
Got it.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I was never going to be prepared for it that year, But no, I don't think you can ever put me in a race car and I'll just go slow up a hill. So, it was just so fun to experience that. And I've always said that I would love to go back one day. I think that would be something I'll do later in my career. And, definitely go for a timed run and do it in a cool car. I have so many dreams to do so many big projects, but they just take time, and I'm in the part of my career where I'm looking to, win some championships and go big in the racing world, and then we'll go do all those fun stuff.
I love it. 18, already got a hell of a plan and a good head on your shoulders. I love to see it. That thing seems crazy to go up because you're on the side of a mountain. It's high elevation. The turns, if you were to botch some of those turns, it seems like it wouldn't be good.
Yeah, I mean, There's just so much consequence. You look over, there's barely any guardrails. You just look over and it's a straight drop down the side of a mountain. And a lot of people used air tanks in their car. I don't even know how you say that. Because it gets such high altitude, and when you're racing, to lose focus without,
Oh, so they get pumped oxygen, so they're breathing pure oxygen,
Right.
not high elevation oxygen.
Yep.
Crazy.
Because once you get close to the top, you're in a really high elevation, so the air gets thin, and that stuff can potentially give you a lack of focus and stuff like that. So it's a really complicated race in that way, and how you prepare for it and what type of cars, because those cars are purpose built for Pikes. There's no other race like that. And it's something that people dream of doing every year, and to be able to do that, I think I was 16 or 17, something like that. and to do it like avongside my mom who did it in the Sierra car was just such a fun experience, and I got to learn from the best. Jeff Swart was one of my mentors that helped me do that. He knows the mountain like the back of his hand and does it every year. So, yeah, such a fun thing, and I'd love to go back and do it again one day.
Cool. And speaking of being alongside your mom, most recently or semi-recently, Baja 1000 in the Maverick class, you guys won a class in Baja 1000, which is just another... For those who aren't familiar with racing, insanely badass accomplishment. And you did it with your mom and one other racer, 1,000-mile race. What stretch did you do? How many miles? How was that experience?
Yeah, for those people who don't know much about the Baja 1000, it is a race on usually from top to bottom of the Baja Sur. And it's done in all different kind of vehicles. The main ones people would know would be the trophy trucks, which are huge $1 million off-road trucks that go 100 miles through the desert and make bumps as high as my waist look like nothing. And we did it with Can-Am in their... back then was their new Maverick R. So we did it in the pro stock UTV class. And in no way we did not go into that thinking we were going to win or place or do anything. You know, we kind of just wanted to do it for fun. And it was another kind of tribute thing that my mom wanted to do because my dad never got to finish the Baja because they did it in a trophy truck one year and it just ended up going as well as they wanted. But definitely the biggest and longest race I've ever done. That year that we did it, it was actually 1,400 miles. So every year it's either they do different routes up top to bottom, bottom to top, but we did it bottom to top. And depending which route you take, it takes longer. So I did the last stint, which was the San Felipe section.
You're the closer.
I was the closer.
Wow.
Which sometimes being a closer is good. Sometimes if the car doesn't make it to you, then it's bad. But the car did make it to us. My mom had some problems in the beginning because that first part of her section was like complete like silt. The sand was super silty, so you could get stuck in it a lot. They got stuck one time. Some trophy truck came running and like ran into the back of them. So they had to limp the car to like this one service that we were at. And I actually did it the non-aesthetic way. I actually went in the chase truck from bottom to where I got in. So I was sleeping in the chase truck, going to all of the pits that we were at. And like, it's nothing like I've ever experienced. You know, the off-road world, I've done short course, but never stuff Baja, like long scent style. So when I got in, San Felipe section is basically big, like, ruts and big rollers. So it's like trophy trucks, they go over it like whoops. They just skim the top of it. Us in a Can-Am, we have a lot less travel than that and can't go as fast. So it was just basically hours of torture, you know? I'd never do the San Felipe section again unless it was in a trophy truck. But the Baja, the end section where we had like pre-ran, I'd been told a lot of stories about people hitting cows in that area because there was a big ranch around there, and like motorcycles have like people have died hitting cows and stuff like that. So I was kind of paranoid going in, and at the end of my stint, it had gotten dark. So basically, I was so like exhausted that I was hallucinating seeing cows that were they were just bushes or trees on the side of the road, but I was thinking they were cows because I was that paranoid. We were that close to the finish that I didn't want to hit a freaking cow. But like, I tell this story all the time and they're like, really? You're hallucinating seeing cows? I'm like, yes! Like, I'd heard so many stories and people had scared me about hitting a cow that I was literally hallucinating. It was so bad. And at the end of it, I mean, we had known we won. We won by like, I think it's like something like an hour-ish. And being a rally driver, you're always driving 100%. And in off-road stuff like this, it's always about making the car finish, not you. You know, like you have to get the car to the finish. Which apparently I was going a bit too fast, but we made it. But yeah, after that, I was like, I'm never doing this again. That was so hard. Like, I was so exhausted, but I'd absolutely do it again.
So how many miles and how long were you in the car aside from the chase car? I know the chase car. How long were you in the chase car for that matter too? Well,
we started in the morning. Trophy trucks, bikes start first, then trophy trucks, and then it kind of goes down the line. We started in the morning, so my mom drove first, and then Rodrigo and Pudia drove the second part, and then Rodrigo was in the co-driver seat for my stint. So I was in the chase truck for maybe 12 hours. Yeah, maybe more. I'm not sure, but I couldn't even tell you how long I was driving the car. I think we started around like maybe noon and finished at like 1 or 2 a.m., maybe 3. Yeah,
13 hours of race pace. In
Horrible.
just 13 hours of whoops, basically.
Yeah, basically.
How's your back feeling after that? Just get out. You're like,
I don't think I could
God.
move my legs when I got out. I was like so stiff and stuck in like the seat position. It was pretty horrible, but I'd absolutely do it again.
Yeah. What a cool thing for you and your mom too. Be on the
Yeah.
same team.
I mean, to do that with her and like to have that accomplishment, like it was so fun, you know, like, but like for me, it was like there's so much hard work that goes in before you even start the race. Like so many days of pre-running I did with Rodrigo. Like we'd just stay in these random little hotels on the sides of the freeway eating like tacos every morning. It was perfect. But yeah, it was such a fun experience. Like for me, like looking back on the stuff I've done in my career so far, like the Baja and Pikes Peak and Nitrocross, like those opportunities, like they were golden for me, you know, like I took every single one of them and had so much fun, you know, and I learned so much, even though maybe they're not what I want to do for the rest of my career. But you give me an opportunity to drive like a sprint car, sure, I'll go do it, you know, like why not? Everything's fun behind a wheel.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And even with the Hoonicorn, you got drag racing too. You're a drag racer. You know,
I mean, I do have my junior drag racing license, so that's random.
You got options.
Yeah.
One thing we haven't really talked too much about is the E Series racing the electric rally cars, and it seems like that went pretty good. That was you were the youngest, right? Youngest to ever race.
Youngest and only female.
Only female
to race the Nitrocross Group E class. So. Nitro has been around for a bit. It was a series that Travis started, and I started like the first year that they did it. I did it in the Sierra car class. So just like I did like a one-off race. I got third in that because there was like 2 different specs of the Sierra cars. One was like the turbo, and I was racing the one that wasn't turbo, but. I think there was like 3 of the turbo and 3 of the not, and the turbos all ended up crashing out, so somehow I got third. But then I went up to the Can-Am class and did that, and then I went to the Nitrocross next, which is like a just grass kind of like simple car, and then eventually went to the Group E car, and Travis gave me his car for 1 round just to try it out and see how it'd do, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So we went back the next year, and I got to race 3 rounds, the ones that actually were ran that year, and had a freaking blast. Like Nitrocross is so fun, rallycross in general is so fun, that type of wheel-to-wheel racing is really fun, and it's just like absolute chaos. Like there's nothing to it, to be honest. It's just a bunch of cars going into first quarter. Whoever comes out and leads likely going to win, unless someone rear ends them into a barrier, you know.
The Joker lane's cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
How there's you have to take it 1 lap.
Yeah, so like usually a final's around 5 to 6 laps, and you have to take the Joker lap once. So the Joker lap is usually shorter than the main line. So it's like there's a little bit of strategy that goes into it. Not really. It's kind of just like, I mean, I would go into a race and be like, okay, when it comes to qualifying, sure, someone could be faster than you, but when it comes to a race, like, you have no idea how it's gonna go. It's all about, like, who gets the first turn first, and then whoever gets a puncture or gets put into a wall, you never know, you know? So I just go into it, like, literally no plan at all, just kind of wing it. I feel like that's kind of how the racing goes, and whenever my spotter told me to take the Joker lap, I just took the Joker lap, so...
So you're telling me the plan is there is no plan.
Yep, exactly.
That's a good way to do it. All right, we're going to get into a guest question from Nils Granger, another one of your representatives over at Wasserman. Here we go.
What's up, Leah? It's Nils. All right, here's my question. So you've been in some wild vehicles and situations. What's the sketchiest moment where you've had to fake calm, but really deep down you were freaking out?
Oh, wow.
That's a good question.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to really have to think about this one.
Sketchiest, yeah, take your time.
Sketchiest moment. I mean, probably that one that I talked about at the beginning of the show with the nitro car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with it dying before the jump. Like, yeah, I mean, I thought I was going to die or something like that. I don't know. I've been really lucky in my racing career so far that I haven't had many moments like crashes or anything that have been super bad, which, knock on wood, of course, which I hope to have any, and I mean, hope to not have any, but that's not how the motorsports world works unless I want to put bubble wrap around me and stay home, but I'm not that type of person, so there will be in the future, but it's been pretty short-lived so far.
There was something Nils brought up on the phone where he was talking about you were driving a Subaru and you had a rollover that was quite sketchy and you ended up between two trees.
Yeah, that wasn't sketchy at all.
Really?
But, I mean, it looks sketchy from the outside, but so I got the opportunity to drive Subaru's open class car, which is basically, it's pretty much equal to maybe a Rally 1 car over in WRC. And I got that opportunity last year to race Brendan Simonek's car while he was at Red Bull Rampage. So I raced against Travis and Connor. It was a really cool opportunity, and it was a chance for me to get back in a rally car after I'd been doing open wheel for the whole year. So, yeah, crazy powerful car, had done nothing like it. I was third overall going into like the second day. I think it was the beginning of second day. And I was like, I really want to get closer to these guys, you know, like just match their stage times a little bit more, because I was losing about a second a mile, I would say, which is incredibly good for the first time in that car, to be honest, like thinking back on it now. But I just gave it a little bit too much. I locked up and going into a corner, kind of just went straight. Somehow, like a berm on the side of the road kicked us up on the side, and we literally bookcased it into two trees. The worst part about it is that the car wasn't damaged. Like, maybe it was a little scraped up on the panels and everything. But if I like, this is why I'm gonna carry a like a chainsaw in my car from now on, because if I had a chainsaw and just cut down one of those trees, I could have kept going. Mm-hmm. I was so pissed about it. It was not sketchy at all. Like, it was probably one of the nicest crashes I've ever had in my life. But yeah, it was a really disappointing end to what should have been a podium that race. But anyways, people flamed me for it, but whatever.
Yeah, catching some heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you deal? I mean, God, you got over 1 million followers on Instagram. I'm sure there's no way with a following, you know, the more success you have, the more haters just come out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the haters?
I mean, honestly, I've learned to let them fuel me in a way, like wanting to prove them wrong, you know? Obviously, I know it's a really bad habit, but I read my comments a lot, which is a bad habit. But honestly, I think it fuels me in that way. Like, seeing, like,
you got are there dweebs in there?
Oh, so many. And I'm like, these people have nothing better to do with their lives besides put negative comments on an 18-year-old girl's posts. Like, it's kind of ridiculous just thinking about it, but whatever. People are always going to talk shit no matter what you do, you know? Like, after winning the championship, once I got announced to be the Williams F1 Academy driver, there was people that I knew from my karting track throwing shit on me. Like, literally, people I've talked to face-to-face that would never say this stuff face-to-face, you know? But were saying that I'd never deserve this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, people are they're just jealous, which is what I take it as, and I just let it fuel me and try to prove people wrong, which, who cares? Like, there's always going to be people like that. But, I mean, words do hurt sometimes, you know?
Especially like being 18 and stuff, like that got to be hard to deal with. You know, trying to
I mean,
that.
hate comments don't bother me as much as perverts do.
Oh, fuck.
There's a lot of them in my comments.
Damn.
And it's like, I have to go through and delete stuff because people say such gross shit. Like, it's a post of me, like, standing next to my rally car and people are commenting on everything. You know, it's kind of horrible. But especially when I was, like, 15, 16, it got a little bit sketchy. And it still does, but it's always going to happen.
Jesus. You know, I feel like when it comes to negative comments and shit, there's nobody that's ever really just thriving in life that's out there.
No.
You know, you're not like, my day's going fantastic. Hold on, let me just pop on here and just like say some terrible shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's always like people that generally are probably, I don't know, not doing great.
Yeah.
You know.
To each their own.
To each their own.
All right, we're going to talk about Arbor. I like what Arbor's got going on these days. They're doing big things. So Arbor has been making high-performance snowboards for nearly 30 years with a little thing called craftsmanship, and they do it with a conscience. These guys were on the sustainability tip long before it was cool, using real wood top sheets, eco-friendly materials, and giving a damn about the mountains and the planet. They're backed by one of the sickest teams out there. We're talking Jared Elston, a.k.a. Big Air Jer, Mary Francois, Red Gerard, who just won an X Games gold, Brian Iguchi, Danny Cass, and many others. Arbor Snowboarding is resetting the standard, blending high performance and sustainability with precision, power, and purpose. So whether you're straight lining like a psycho or going full dummy in the park, Arbor's got A-grade boards and bindings that you need to ride your best. So check out Arbor. They got a lot of cool stuff going on.
Greetings, Bombhole listeners. E-Jack here. Pardon the interruption, but I need to let you know about Nidecker Need to Know. Every week, we're giving away a bunch of prizes like these, the Kita boot. This one just happens to be my signature model and the best boot of all time, in my humble opinion. Very simple to play. All you got to do is answer this one question. What is your favorite Bombhole episode of all time? I know, it's been some good ones. Definitely some highlights, but go to this week's guest photo on the Bombhole Instagram, comment your answer, and we'll choose a winner. Good luck.
All right, we'll keep things moving. I want to go to a huge topic here. Signing with Rockstar.
Yes.
First female signed in the whole four-wheels motorsports category, paving the way. How's it feel? How do you like being a part of it?
It's been awesome so far. And for me, I believe that everything happens for a reason. And I think this was a big thing, especially for my career, like just signing with them and them having the faith in me and letting me do whatever I want as long as it's cool, you know, like there's such like a family dynamic. And I feel that you probably know this as well. Like the people who work there are just incredible people and they really just want to see their athletes thrive. And it's like, hey, let's go do a girls trip, do this, do that. Like, yeah, hell yes, let's do it. You know, like they're the people that, you know, fund my dreams. And it's just so fun to be such a part of such like a community and such an iconic brand as well. So I've been loving it, and they're such an amazing brand. So I can't wait to do some incredible stuff with them in the future.
Yeah, that livery you're showing me on the new car in the lobby looks pretty slick.
Yeah.
Looking good. That's awesome. Well, a huge shout out for them for supporting you. That's major. I want to talk about your season going back to F1 because I was looking at 2024. You got P4, two P4s, and 8th overall. If you were to kind of just reflect on the season, how do you feel like it went?
I mean, last year for me, I talked about going into it like a bit too confident. You know, like I didn't know what to expect, so I kind of just assumed I'm a good driver in rally and off-road stuff, so how hard could it be? It turned out to be really hard. So there's just a lot of different like aspects to formula racing that you wouldn't expect to have to put so much work into, like data review and being in the gym because these cars have no power steering. So I've had to change my lifestyle a lot with actual training for specific things in the gym and I talked about this with you off camera, like, I don't have much motivation to go to the gym most of the time. So having that discipline and having your trainer, you know, always eyeing you up, being like, okay, where's your stats from today? Did you do this? Did you do that? You know, like, it's really helped me just with discipline as a person and a driver. Like, there's so many different things that I never realized went into this sport. I mean, and rally has all those different things, but maybe it's in a bit of a different capacity. So, like, data, like, I've never learned how to review data. If I showed you a picture of data, you'd have no idea what it looked like. And that's what I was like when I first started. So there's so many different things that I had to learn that was other than driving on the track, you know? And I kind of had to, like, start from the bottom and kind of scrap everything I knew and build up again and really be, okay, I'm here, I'm a rookie, I have no idea what I'm talking about, I just need to learn. And I really had to change my whole philosophy about how I was going into it after the first race, first test, kind of stuff like that. But after I saw kind of the growth of, you know, the results coming every weekend and seeing that hard work paying off, like, I really started to enjoy it. And it's hard when you come from winning a championship in rally in the U.S., like, you're on top of the world kind of thing, to go down and be no one, you know? So it's definitely been a struggle, but I enjoy a challenge, and I like humbling myself. Not that I don't love winning, but I think it's really good for my career and to go do something that I've never done before at the perfect age, and I had kind of this golden opportunity with Williams. So, yeah, a lot of hard stuff, but I've enjoyed the journey as a whole.
Cool. Well said. Yeah, you think about your rally career, all the success you've had, winning everything, being on top of the podium and all that, and then, you know, you jump into this new world and you're just kind of get your teeth kicked in. And I feel like when you zoom out on your career as a whole, this would be such a great chapter, because you got to learn how to take your medicine and learn from it, and it's humbling. And I feel like you've found all the good in it, but I'm sure it hasn't been easy when you're facing that adversity.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you do come from winning and that's all people see on social media, you know, and most people only see the good stuff. So it's hard to go down to the bottom and be like, hey guys, I have to start over. This is something I've never done before. And to have to explain that to someone or to your fans or to people that are watching it's hard to see yourself at that low. But once you are building up, and at the end of the season, like, it was a record high. Like, I crossed the line third in Abu Dhabi, got a penalty, but hey, you know, I saw that progression and that line slowly coming up. So it was really rewarding for me, and to see the hard work I had to put in to basically play catch up with these girls every single race, because they've done it for years, you know, in F4 and karting. So yeah, sometimes I need to go out and look at the bigger picture, because I can get so focused on, well, I can't get these 2/10 out of this one corner, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, well, okay, I don't want to give myself an excuse, but look at it in reality. You know, like, you need to have some sort of gauge on where you've came from and where you started.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, I was talking to Nils, and I was asking about your travel schedule, and he was mentioning that you got to fly to Europe to go do your practicing, your testing on a simulator. Mm-hmm. So you're not in a car, you're just in a simulation race car, and you're just practicing on that.
Yeah, so before we go to any racetrack, whether it's a test or a race, I head to Paris to where my junior team is. They are ART Grand Prix, and they have a simulator that is an F1 Academy simulator, basically, and has all the specs and all the tracks. So I don't actually go to Williams to do any of that stuff, because they're strictly a Formula One team. All of their junior drivers, like Luke Browning and Victor Martins, who are the F2 drivers, they go to ART as well, and Luke goes to High Tech. They do all of their things, all of their junior teams run their cars, do the sim, everything like that. So I have to fly all the way to Paris, and recently the last race was Canada. So I had to fly to Paris, do a day at sim there, be extremely jet lagged, fly out the next day, go all the way back to Canada, and then race there. You know, it's like so many air miles racked up just because of flying across to Europe like that and having to go do sim, which I wouldn't change it. It's very beneficial, and the actual simulation of the car and the feeling is, incredible for learning a new track, which I had to do all last year.
So you're doing your simulation race, and then I'm guessing, do they take the data and then you go over it with whoever and they tell you, okay, this corner you could work on, this is where you need to work on throttle control. Like, what are you doing when you leave that sim session?
Yeah, so basically a sim session for me is usually we start at like 9 or 10 and we go till like 5 p.m. So it's me and my teammate Ariella usually in the sim, so we'll switch off for each session, but we'll go through kind of a race weekend. So we'll start with free practice, which will be probably the lowest grip that you'll have, and you'll simulate that. So you do however many laps. Usually a free practice is 35 minutes, so you get 2 sessions of like 8 laps. And then we'll switch off. Ariella will go in. We'll take the data from both of us and then kind of review it, where we're losing, where we're gaining, how can we improve the both of us, because we're helping each other. We're teammates, so we're trying to, figure out all the rough stuff before actually having to go to the real stuff, and going to the racetrack. So, and then we'll go into free practice 2, then we'll go into qualifying. We'll do probably 2 or 3 qualifyings, and then we'll do a race simulation. So it's basically simulating a weekend, but you're in a dark dungeon room in a simulator, So it's very different, and my brain gets fried every time I'm there and I just want to fall asleep. But it's so beneficial you're doing a lot of the work before you even get to the track.
You know what corner you got to work on. You know your entry of each corner and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's basically like the basic stuff, like where your braking points are, where you can turn in, how fast can you take through this corner. Like it's all relative, Yeah. You can't trust it completely, but you have so much more of a knowledge of the track if you've never been there, or just things you can work on before you ever get to the track, so you have more of a step up.
Cool. Yeah, insane. That's nuts, because you think about motocross, it's like they got to go to the test track. You have to just physically, like everything else, you have to physically ride.
But that's a lot less expensive than taking an F4 car to a racetrack for a day.
Good point.
Know?
Yeah,
like,
good point.
We have to do the simulator because we can't go testing every week.
Yeah, because you need an engineer, you need a mechanic, you need
more mechanics.
Yeah.
You need 3 mechanics on one car. You have to have your engineer. You have to pay for the track. You have to get the truck there. So many different things. It's unlike skateboarding, snowboarding. We can just walk out the door, go down the street, and ride your skateboard, or just go to the snow hill. So it's a lot different. So the simulator, it's probably still expensive to run a simulator, but less expensive to bring like 3 cars to a track and the trailers and all the flights and everything.
Cool. Yeah, I think about when you do well in a race, though, it's got to be such a good feeling having such a big team.
Yeah.
Though, when you got all your engineers and mechanics and race team managers, and then you got nutritionists and trainers, and like there's such a great effort going in to you doing well.
Right.
That when you do well, I bet it's great to celebrate.
Yeah, all of the hard work from everyone, not even yourself, that goes into a race weekend, and it starts a month out before you even get to that racetrack. So, but then that also goes vice versa. When you get taken out in the first corner and your whole weekend's done, all that work you've done is kind of ruined by someone else. So there's 2 sides to it, and that's always going to be the struggle in motorsport, and probably in any other sport in the world, right? There's always those ups and downs.
Yeah. How do you feel with the amount of pressure on your shoulders, though? It's an insurmountable pressure. Do you feel like you love it? You thrive on it? You want more of it? Where are you at?
Usually I thrive on pressure. 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 I enjoy it. I like proving people wrong or right or whatever, or surpassing expectations. But pressure can also be difficult sometimes when there's too much. But most of the time, I put pressure on myself more than other people or outside things are putting pressure on me. So it's definitely a mental battle sometimes when you're talking about like mental health, or I work with a sports psychologist just to, it's kind of about pacing yourself and understanding where you're at in your career or in your talent, where you're at. So it's Yeah, there's a lot of different factors that can affect a race weekend, even just in your brain.
I want to lean into the sports psychologist thing. Him, her, what?
His name's JJ. I've been working with him the past 2 years.
So what do you when you talk to a sports psychologist, like, what are we talking about here?
So it's not like what you would think it would be. Like, it's not like I'm talking to a therapist, you know?
I'm thinking like visualization. Or
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of tools that I talk to him about. So I'll talk you through, like, basically before a race weekend, I'll sit down with him on a Zoom call and we'll basically go through goals for the weekend. What do I want to happen? What am I going to strive to do? What do I need to improve on from last race, right? After a race weekend, we'll go through those goals and be like, okay, how did we accomplish them? What went wrong? What went right? Stuff like this. Then he can help me. Basically, talking about these things out loud to someone helps you process it even after it's done, right? These small things you pick up on, you're like, oh, I did this, that maybe affected this, whatever. And then if you find something like, okay, I'll give an example. I really struggled at the beginning of this year with a fear of crashing or damaging my car. So I wouldn't go for passes that were available because I was scared that I was going to lock up or someone was going to turn into me, whatever. Because I was just scared of crashing the car and having to pay money. That's kind of the basis. But so we had to identify that with JJ and understand why that's happening, why I'm feeling like that, and how can we use tools basically not to fix it, but to start going in a different direction. You know, think about it differently. So those are little things that he helps me identify, or I identify by myself while talking to him, so that to improve my mental state of mind, because all these little things can add up or take away from a race weekend. So you just I thought it was a stupid idea when someone brought it up to me, like, you should have a sports psychologist. Nah, why would I do that, you know? But it is truly really helpful for me.
Freaking 18 years old, you are wise beyond your years. Holy hell. Listening to you, talk about that. I mean, I'm 38 years old. I'm like, God damn, I'm learning a whole bunch of stuff right now. But I think what also gets me wondering about that is this life that you're living, this race car driver, traveling the world. Do you still feel like you get to be a kid?
I mean, yeah. Totally. I mean, I'm a race car driver. How is that not being a kid, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I get to travel to all these different places and experience different cultures and hang out with some people that, maybe I would never meet if I was still here in Park City, just going to the regular high school or about to go to college, So I enjoy this life. Yes, it's hard work sometimes, but that's what I have to do to be able to do what I enjoy and be able to race cars. So, I did 1 year of high school, my sophomore year. I went to real high school. I did real classes. I mean, I was gone for a lot of it, but I did go, and I can say I went. But I finished school online. So I never really had that, like, a good friend group, or I have my best friend, but I never had that normal childhood life. But what was normal for me is normal for me, that's
your normal.
That's my normal. That's how I grew up, and that's how I choose to use my life. Like, if I never said I wanted to race, my dad would not care. Like, he would support me if I wanted to go, be a professional dancer or something like that, So this is what I chose, and I say work now, party later.
Woo! Again, wise. Wise young shaman in the booth.
Don't get me wrong. I love to go wake surfing, snowboarding, but those are like different things that I choose to do.
You can't leave the ground or jib.
No. Yeah, let's clarify that right now.
Definitely not jumping on the dirt bike. That's not happening. We've never seen that happen before. Okay, so we're going to get to a section of the show we call hot takes. These are, it's kind of, you can elaborate if you need to, but we're going to rip through some shorter form answers, we'll call it.
All right.
So, first question, we're going to make it, normally we do it snowboarding related. This is motorsport related.
Okay.
So we do both male and female of motorsports. Who's your GOAT?
Michelle Mouton. Yeah, probably. I would say she's my GOAT.
Amazing. I love that. Would you consider Rally and or F1 an art, a sport, or a lifestyle?
All three.
You want to elaborate?
Well, I mean, if you're an F1 driver, you are on planes all day, going to a racetrack every weekend. That is your life. That is your lifestyle. That's what you live and breathe. It's also an art because it takes so much finesse and you can do it so many different ways. There's so many different ways to be a driver and so many different ways that you can portray yourself as a person on social media, a true race car driver, that like a Finn that does not post on social media or not want to talk to the camera. Like, so many different ways to do that. And as a sport, it's competitive. So everybody wants to win. You're not a real race car driver if you don't.
Freaking great answer. Okay, favorite car you've ever driven?
It's a hard one. I'll just say the Hoonicorn. Yep, why not?
Who's one of the most underrated racers?
I don't really know. My brother.
Yeah, Micah.
You'll see him soon. Don't worry.
I've been yarded. I've got the smoke from Micah before.
Yeah, everybody has gotten the smoke, even me. As much as I don't want to admit it.
All right, who's got the best style?
Best style?
In moto.
Moto?
Or I guess motorsports.
Motorsports.
I don't know. I'm kind of going rally F1 vibes, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have to say Lewis Hamilton. Like, you see his fits all the time. Maybe he's got some crazy ones, but, you know.
Okay, what's the best livery or your favorite livery you've ever seen?
Favorite livery is probably the kind of, I think it was one of my dad's, like, cheetah print, like, black and white, kind of like, it looks like it's glitching out. I don't know, I don't remember which one that was, but it was on the rallycross cars. That was probably one of my favorite. Or like the Galaxy one, because I remember my mom made leggings out of those and I would wear them all the time. I was probably like 8 or something like that, and I'd wear them everywhere.
Great answer. Dream sponsor, but you can't already be one of your sponsors. Like, dream sponsor, it could be anything in the world, you know, like for example, you know, Home Depot for me.
Home Depot.
I would love to be.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's my dream sponsor. But you know, just kind of
Be like a private jet company, so I don't have to pay money to, you know, fly.
That's a good answer. Yeah.
It would save me a lot of money, guys.
Yeah, if there's anybody listening, any of the private jet companies.
Yeah. I mean, we could.
Look good on the side of the car.
Yeah, we could make a runway at the ranch, maybe.
There you go. Perfect. Last question. Worst trend?
Worst trend? Like, ever in motorsports, usually?
Motorsports, life, doesn't matter.
Skinny jeans.
Skinny jeans.
Yeah.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Great answer.
Horrible.
Like that.
Horrible.
Some people are going to be offended by that.
Yeah, well, I don't really care.
That's incredible. All right, so we talked about how you've had a racing career your whole high school career.
Mm-hmm.
How did you manage being so young, and also, like, how did you manage school with your racing?
Well, I mean, this past year, my senior year probably has been the hardest, to be honest. I did my sophomore year, real high school. I went to Montessori school before that. If anybody doesn't know what that is, it's kind of like a different way of schooling. And, like, I had a list every day, and I had to go do the list. Once I was done my list, I could do whatever I wanted, play chess, whatever. So I went to one real year of high school, then I got too busy to be able to do that because I was already gone a week or two every month and stuff like that. So I eventually went online for the last 2 years, which was also very difficult because when you are doing school and traveling, you kind of forget to open your computer and do anything. So I'd get behind a couple weeks, have to catch up all in one day, and then get behind a couple weeks, catch up all in one day, which was difficult, right? But one thing my mom always said was, no A's, no race car. So had to get the honor list every quarter. If not, no more race car. So that's how I grew up, which was definitely good motivation, you know, because you take away the one thing I love and, have some motivation now. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it was difficult, but I think it's really good to always have that plan B and to know, like, I have a diploma. I went to high school.
Now GED, you got a diploma?
I got a diploma.
Okay,
Yep.
just making sure.
Yep, it was sent to me in the mail about a month ago when I graduated. So thank goodness I'm done with that. But yeah, I think go to school, kids. It's important. Like, I have a plan B. I mean, I'm going to take some college classes this year, just online. My struggle with school was there was nothing I really loved to learn about, so I had no motivation, like, unless there was a test, it would go in one ear and out the other. You know, like, I learned the basic things up until, like, freshman year. I was like, why are we learning this thing? Why is there letters in math now? Like, stuff like that. So I can get into things that I want to learn about. Like, I want to take some college classes on, like, finance and maybe marketing and stuff like that. Things that will actually help me in my life, unlike math, because I'm also dyslexic, so I struggled in school a little bit, just generally. But yeah, I think that helps me in my career, and going forward, I'm glad that I did finish it, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting to talk about, basically taking classes on things that actually pique your interest. And it's funny to think about you going to school for marketing when you basically have a master's degree in marketing right now. You know what I mean? Like, be honest, the fact that you have, like, you know, such a massive following of people, and you totally have such a greater understanding than an average person in that, just because you live in marketing,
right?
You know,
I mean, there's always things to learn and different ways to look at things. I've grown up watching my dad's marketing strategy, which is very unique to anything else that's ever been done in the motorsports world. So learning from that, but putting my own twist on it. And still to this day, you can do good marketing, but if you're not making dollars off of it, then there's really no way to go forward. So learning the finance side of it, I think, will be really beneficial for me just going forward, and learning how to manage my own money now that I'm having to pay for all my racing, and making sponsors happy and all of that stuff, which is the truth of the racing world, because it's billions of dollars once you get to F1 and WRC. Like, there's a lot of money that you have to raise, whether that's through sponsors or just through the people, you know, and Instagram and how many followers you have. So unfortunately, it's not just about how talented you are as a driver anymore. You know, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah. Wow. Brilliantly said. We got a couple more guest questions. We're going to fire one up. This one's from Ika Backstrom.
Ika!
Hey, Leah. I'm so hyped you're doing a bomb haul right now. I can't wait to listen to this one. I wanted to hear your best memory with your dad in a race car. I love you so much, and I can't wait to listen to this episode.
Oh, thanks, Ika. Best memory with my dad in a race car. I would probably have to say the first time I ever sat with him in a rally car. I think it was, oh my God, no way. Okay, I just remember this. So I don't know if I really should say this, but the first time I was ever in a rally car with my dad, we had to put my car seat in the passenger seat. We had to, like, I know my mom and dad had, like, the mechanics had to figure out how to, like, strap my car seat into the car somehow. So I had to be, like, I don't know, 6, 7, maybe, like, younger. I can't truly remember. I don't even know where it was. But all I remember was, like, barely being able to see over the dash and having the absolute time of my life.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I don't know if that's definitely, like, not very legal. I mean, I don't know. It's a rally car on a closed course. Who knows? Anyways, that happened. Yeah, that was probably my earliest memory of being in a rally car with my dad, and probably the best one.
That's so cool.
It was just a roller coaster. That's how rally cars feel. If you sit in the passenger seat of a rally car, it is a roller coaster. Even for me as a driver, it is so fun. That's what I love about rally. Every time I get in a rally car, I'm having fun, no matter what. I mean, maybe if you're into the trees, maybe it's not as much fun, but you know, when you're on the road, it is.
And I think about it too, compared to F1, like, you're just drifting. Like, you're basically just matting it, right? You're like your pedals.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. So me and my mom argue about this all the time. She rallies to have fun, and I rally to go fast. which I can argue that going fast and winning is more fun than just having fun. But we do rally different ways. But
winning is fun. Winning is fun.
I mean, it's smooth as fast. That's what we always say, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe if you're completely sideways, sure, it's fun. Maybe it's not fast, but you know, there's different ways to rally, and that's what I love about it. It's like you can go out there in like a beater Subaru that's like, I don't know, 20 years old, but still just have the time of your life because you're having fun going down closed off roads that maybe you do when you're like maybe 16 when you just got a car very illegally, but you know.
Well, that's the thing that I think that's cool about this like side by side phenomenon that's happened over the past, you know, however 15 years or so. But like those things have gotten so good that you can be like a little junior bacon race car driver in those things with not much experience and just start. The suspension's good. You can just kind of hammer on them and pretty good time.
I mean, for me, it's just like Can-Ams and all the side by sides. There's such okay, I'm not going to say easy because everything costs money. Yeah. But it's an easier way to get into the world of motorsports and just to have fun. You can take them out to the dunes. You can take them to a dirt road, right? You can just have fun, and they're safe, and they have all the features. They have the good suspension and all this. I mean, yeah, they'll still break on you, but they're easier to fix. You know, it's just an easy way to have fun, like as a family, four-seater, whatever.
Yep. Okay, last guest question. This one is from Salema Masakela. Let me find it. Okay, here we go.
What up, Grenier? What up, Bombhole? What up, Leah? This is Uncle Salema coming at you from the Uber on the way home from LAX. I saw you at X Games, but I didn't say hello because you were busy talking to a bunch of shirtless boys at the trampoline demo.
That was my sister.
Embarrass you. Anyway, looking forward to riding with you this winter. And I guess my question for you is, what's it like building your own identity when you are at the same time walking in such massive footsteps? Love you. See you soon.
Okay, I love you, Salema, but you just mistook my sister for me, by the way. That was kind of rude.
Kira was at the Tramps?
That was Kira at the Tramps. She was with a bunch of shirtless boys, not me. I mean, sure, I'll be with a bunch of shirtless boys, why not? But that's my sister. Anyways, yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I love you, Salema, but I mean, yeah, obviously I do have some big shoes to fill, but for me, it doesn't feel like that. Like, everybody, let's give an example. I just signed with Rockstar. My dad was with Monster for years. The whole family was. We were a big part of them. So a lot of people found that really difficult and just seeing that I'm going in a different direction. But I think that that's what's making my own career is I'm paving my own path. You know, I've been given these opportunities and these doors opened for me to create my own career and do what makes me happy. So I think it's about having fun and doing what you love. And if you're doing what you love, nothing should ever feel like a job. And I want to race for as long as I possibly can and take as many opportunities as I possibly can, go as far as I possibly can, and just have fun while doing it and lift other people up, like my siblings and anyone around me. So that's what I just want to continue doing. And I think that's the path my father laid out for me and the one he took. So why not do it in my own way?
God, brilliantly articulated, Leah.
Thank you.
That was great. Okay, just a few more things before we wrap up this show. The main one being, what's next for Lia Block? What do we got coming down the pipeline?
What's next? Well, that's a good question. I wish I could give you a straight up answer, but I really can't. Obviously, I've been doing F1 Academy for the past 2 years. I've tried the open wheel route. Still trying to decide if it's for me or not. You know, for me, it's all going to come down to, you know, what I love the most and what I'm going to enjoy doing for the rest of my life, because that's really where I want to put myself. And I want to set myself up in a position where I can go as far as I possibly, can. So I want to be racing in a world championship one day, and I want to be competing at the top, whether that's F1, WRC, or World RX. So goes all back to, I believe everything happens for a reason, and any opportunity I have, I will take. So next year, I'm still yet to figure out the way I'm going. But by the time this comes out, I would have done the Boone Rally in Tennessee, which I am very excited about. It's going to be in the Rally 3 car, which is the JWRC car that they use in the Junior Championship. So just kind of testing out the waters again, kind of figure out what I love to do and what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, basically, the rest of my career. And I mean, to be honest, like, I'm not gonna side it, but like there's a lot of it comes down to money, you know. In F1, like, you have to have millions of dollars to make it anywhere, even if you have the talent. So WRC is maybe the same way. You still have to have some money, but I think that maybe I have a bigger opportunity there, and I enjoy that a lot. So we'll see next year. I'll hopefully be racing in the U.S. Either way I go. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some cool projects with Rockstar and maybe some OEMs. So have maybe some car builds coming up, you know, do some fun stuff like that. But just hope to keep building on the momentum I have and keep racing and having fun.
Incredible. Side note from your mom about this Boone Rally. She says,
don't crash my car.
Yeah,
Yep.
she, no, in quotes, it better come back in one piece.
Yes. That's one thing I did leave out on. It is my mom's Rally 3. So when I won the championship, I was racing a rear-wheel drive BRZ, and she was racing this R3 that we own. So it is her car, and she's lending it to me for this rally. It's an all-wheel drive car, it's a limited four-wheel drive, so it doesn't compete in the all-wheel drive, the open-wheel class. Open all-wheel drive class? I don't know how you say it. So it's a kind of a lower-end all-wheel drive class, maybe a bit easier to drive than other things I have. So it's kind of just one-off. It fit in my schedule, which is a rare thing these days. And I'm just looking to have some fun and put together some sick content for people to watch. And then we'll see where we go from there.
How do we feel like where our pace is at in the rally car?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, the last time I raced a rally car was with Subaru in the full open class car, which is incredibly powerful, and that was against Travis and Connor Martel. So I'm not sure. It's been a full year since that. So I'm just looking to have fun, to be honest. Like, there is a good chance of a podium at the end of the weekend, but I'm not looking to put it into trees, so maybe we'll take it a little bit cautious. But at the end of the day, just have some fun in a rally car.
Not looking to put in trees, will have chainsaw in the trunk.
Yep.
Love to hear
we got another one here from our number one Patreon question asker.
Number one?
Mr. Benny Pellegrino.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Wow. Benny wants to know, do you think we'll ever see a Lia Block Gymkhana video?
I don't know. This is a heavy question because it's something that's a big shoes to fill. You know, my dad's done almost everything you can possibly do in a rally car without CGI, you know, and same with Travis. So if I'm going to go do a Gymkhana, I want to do it full out, you know, and I don't think that I'm in the position or have the time right now to make it as big as I want it, you know, and to put that time into it. So I think someday it's going to happen, but I want it to be at the right time. And I honestly don't think that I'm ready yet.
Well, you're 18. So you
got a lot of years left. Don't worry, guys. Some other projects, like, we'll get there someday.
Yep, that's amazing. Well, God, this has been a banter journey. It's been a wonderful chat. Did you have fun?
I had so much fun.
Yeah, I had a blast. Seth, did you have fun listening?
I had an absolute great time and learned so much that I had no idea anything about.
He knows this much. I'm holding up a 0 for the listeners about
I can barely
motorsports.
drive a car.
Perfect. Well, I'm so thankful to come on here because I've listened to the podcast a long time with my dad and my siblings, and we always lip sync to the big, nice burgundy snowboard. And yeah, very honored for you guys to have me on this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we feel the same way, and we're so proud of you and everything you've done.
Thank you.
And it's just been a pleasure, Leah. So
Well, I can't wait to come back in 5 years and tell you all the other cool shit I get to do, you know?
Yeah, open door policy. Whenever you want to come
Let's
in,
do
Leah,
it.
we got you. Recurring guest. You'll be a recurring
Perfect.
guest. Who's going to do the sign off? Who's going to take us out of the show? Baby Huey, do you want to take us out? Or do you want to have Leah? What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's have Leah.
Yeah,
let's have Leah.
We'll put
She's
you in the
kinda
broadcaster
just been
booth.
absolutely
You just gotta-
crushing
Oh my goodness.
You got to pretend you're a broadcaster, so you're just kind of saying thanks to the people that listen, thanks to all the sponsors, and then over and out from the bomb hole or whatever you want to do to kind of just take us out of the show.
Thank you to all the listeners. Thanks for listening to this all the way through. Thank you guys, the Bomb Hole crew, for having me on. I can't wait to come back. And over and out from the Bomb Hole.
Woo!